Hey everyone, welcome. My name is JR. I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network, where our whole mission is to really build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders. And today we're here with another roundtable interview where we're going to interview some amazing entrepreneurs that are out there doing some really cool things. And we're going to find out more about who they are, what they do, and the impact that they're making. And if you guys find something that resonates with you, I want to encourage you guys to reach out, make connections, and further that conversation. So, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Thanks, Alice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first question I'm going to go to Thomas Scott first, since you're on the right side of my screen. Why don't you share more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started doing what you're doing?
Yeah, appreciate that. So as you guys know, I'm here in St. Pete, Tampa, and as a real estate professional, I've been wholesaling, investing in real estate now 6 years plus. And one of the things that I struggled with most as a small operator, I didn't have a big team, was trying to keep that revenue needle moving forward. And if you guys understand exactly what I'm talking about, it's the ups and downs, right, of trying to get a deal done, and then now you're getting that deal done, and now you have to go back out, and it was just crazy, right? And so what I did was I built a revolutionary AI powered system where AI agents that act like employees handle all of those low level tasks and implemented it in my business. It took off. Started an AI agency where we now help real estate professionals and home service companies alike. And it's just been a world of a difference, saving time, making more money, less stress. So my mission is to ensure that every business has this standard so they don't have to go through those struggles trying to just, stay on top of it. But that's what I do, and I'm glad to have me on here. I like to talk about this all day long and help people in the process.
Cool. What inspired you to get started doing what you're doing?
Um, inspiration, seeing an OpenAI video of a them actually doing a demo with the chat, and then but also it was like internal inspiration because I was missing calls, I wasn't adequately doing follow up, and I once again just pulling my hair out, being torn, from left to right, doing all these tasks, and so it was a pain point, which was inspiration, and then seeing how AI was coming on the scene and how I could potentially use that in our business.
Yeah. So, from your perspective, with the type of clients that you're working with, what is the cost of not moving forward with different AI agents and services?
It's crazy. I built a missed call revenue calculator that actually shows it in math and not just in theory. We'll ask people how many calls they generally miss in a week. What's their average ticket or closing worth to them? What's their, closing rate? And by the end of it, you see how much money is potentially lost in revenue just by missing calls. And that's just one part of the system. And the only reason I focus here is because we talk a lot to these folks and we want to know what are the biggest pain points. And we always hear missed calls, not answering them, and follow up. So we built those systems around that. It was my pain point. But yeah, I mean, just seeing it in on paper, it's mind blowing. I talked with a wholesaler at the end of it, and I could show it to you guys. I don't know. You were talking about maybe some case studies. I have tons of those. If that's something you guys want to see. But at the end of it, he was missing over $500,000 in potential revenue, missing just 6 calls a week.
That's
So
crazy.
it's pretty powerful.
Love that. So, we all need to be using AI. Very cool. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Lucy, same question for you. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, what inspired you to get started.
Absolutely. So, hey everyone, my name is Lucie McGuire. I am the founder. I call myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur because I have multiple ventures that I am doing that all kind of weave together. So, it really started off when I started a social media agency back in 2022. I have been in the marketing world for over a decade, and when the pandemic happened, obviously that shifted a lot for us, right? And we got the opportunity to work remotely. And I have become a traveler since 2018 when I studied abroad, and it changed my life. And when the pandemic happened, I never thought of myself as someone who would work remotely. And I realized that I could take what I'm doing and do it remotely. And I started living that lifestyle. When it didn't work out with my other business, I realized that there's an opportunity there where, hey, there's a lot of businesses who don't realize how remote work can be effective. And when push came to shove, I ended up starting a social media agency because people saw that value in me. I think that entrepreneurs don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. There's like a fire, a pain point, something that like gets us going. And we're like, wait, no, dang it, I should be doing this. And
Yeah.
that is what happened for me in my journey with starting the social media agency, starting off coaching and helping other entrepreneurs really get their voice out there in their own way, in their own unique voice. And then as that's been for now the last 4 years, building that agency of coaching and then social media management for these businesses, I've found that I've now been able to take that work. I really built something that was able to, instead of working to live, living to work, I work to live. And that is what I want to teach other entrepreneurs. So I started another venture to now take what I'm teaching people with social media and showing them, hey, you can take this offline. You can go or to another place in another destination with what you're doing and take back the freedom you said you wanted when you started your business. You said every entrepreneur, in my opinion, majority start it so that you can get the freedom back, right? And I don't think we were put on this earth to just work every single day of our lives. And trust me, I am a workaholic myself, but if we can't enjoy what we're doing in this life, like what are we doing? And I think finding the passion and connecting the dots and helping people show up as their real selves online and finding those opportunities to help make them mobile or whatever, connect the dots for them. I'm also a connector, JR, Junior. So it is incredible, and that's what I feel like I've been placed on this earth to do. So that kind of weaves in a little bit of the inspiration, but the inspired part is I just wanted to start creating the life that I actually want to live. I had that push because of my last company that I worked for. We've all worked for a company that didn't appreciate us, and you really learn a lot through entrepreneurship. And the last piece that really like fuels everything that I do and all the businesses that I do is I'm trying to create an opportunity for other students. So when I studied abroad in 2018, it changed my life. It showed me the way to be able to travel. I've been to 35 countries and 29 states in 7 years. And I started a nonprofit back in 2020 to help underserved college and trade students take study abroad trips overseas. I don't take a dime from the organization. It's like having another job, but I'm super passionate about it. And since 2020, we've been able to send 16 students overseas and change their life through emotional intelligence. We have an entire tracking system with teaching them to be more well-rounded adults and leaders in our communities. So that's what fuels me and makes me do what I do.
Very cool. One of my friends for many years had gave me a quote that ultimately changed my perspective about business and life, and it aligns with what you were saying right there. Is we all strive for work-life balance. So we say, okay, how do we have work-life balance and keep it separate? And the reality is, work-life balance is a complete lie. Because as an entrepreneur, it's almost impossible to find the balance, because when you're passionate about what you do, you're always going to be on, because you have this desire to serve and help people and things like that. I just, to me, when you're an entrepreneur, I just don't believe in ever shutting it off. Like, you're always going. But what he changed my mindset and thought was, instead of calling it work-life balance, you call it work-life harmony. So how do we actually create the business that fits the life that we desire to have, and making sure we set those non-negotiables and that family time and the busyness and stuff, and that we keep that harmony, so that would intertwine, so we don't just run ourselves ragged and burn out and all these different things, and then go to someone like Thomas or Lucie and use an AI to help automate everything we do, so we can't have that harmony in our life that we want. So that was a quote that was told to me many years ago, and it definitely resonated, because I always strived for work-life balance. And it was arguments that me and my wife would have all the time. She's like, you need more work-life balance in your life. And I said, how do you do that? And then when he told me, I was like, okay, it worked out. So good stuff.
I love that.
Yeah. Sebastian, I'm going to go to you, man. So tell us more about who you are, what you do, what inspired you to get started, man.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I am a Christian entrepreneur who has dedicated his life to voice. I run a public speaking agency, and my greatest passion in life, and like you're talking about, it's about work-life harmony, right? And as an entrepreneur, you've already entangled the two. You've already decided to pursue both at the same time. It is your passion that you've made into a business to fund your life, because we need to be funded, of course, but you're looking to change something in the world. I've sought to empower those people that are looking to change things in the world. I always say that there are two kinds of entrepreneurs: those who chase profit and those who chase purpose. Those who chase profit are either not going to make it, they may be successful, but never fulfilled. I don't even consider them real entrepreneurs. I work with people who chase purpose, who are devoted to a change that they want to make in the world and are more focused on what they want to give than what they want to take. I put those people on stage so people can hear about them, people can actually move with them, and they can solve the three most expensive problems in today's world of entrepreneurship: trust, connection, and authority. Those are the three most expensive, invaluable things that even giant corporations are no longer able to achieve. So through public speaking, I seal that gap, I tie that bridge, and I empower people to do that.
Very cool. What inspired you to get started in what you're doing?
It was church, actually. Attending church, I noticed just how powerful the speakers here were, just how powerful and passionate, and how they were able to change lives just by talking. That's it, just by talking. And whether you're religious or not, the truth is that's how we operate as human beings. Words move us. Through hearing other people, we're able to follow in their passions and purpose, embody what it is that their goals are, and actually make a difference, right? And as someone who's an entrepreneur and a Christian, I almost by accident got on a stage at a church. And after 3 years of struggling to get my business off the ground, seeing almost no results and trying everything, I tried ads, $20,000 in Facebook and this and that. Nothing worked for me. I got on that stage and my business exploded. Almost every single person had booked a call with me, and I realized it's because the world doesn't work the same way that it used to. What inspired me was seeing that our world has once again shifted to be aligned with purpose. People nowadays, they listen to people.
I love that. Very cool. I love your story about how you got started in church, because I think that's where a lot of people kind of get started at. And for me, that's that same way. Is like, I've grew up in a church, found leadership in church, and just got plugged in, and just not just that, just being in your environment, because we are a product of our environment, just being around good
Exactly
people
right.
and learning what servant leadership is all about. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, the funny thing about church is like you got some of the most expensive volunteers that are there that's get the most time and everything else for a
Hmm.
mission and a cause. And if we look at the church as a business model, it's so amazing how a church can really get people to show up every single week for a common purpose and a goal, and it's because there's
Right.
alignment. And if we
Exactly
look at
right.
that from an entrepreneur standpoint, it's like we need to focus more on serving people, but also serving the people that are aligned and equally yoked with the message that we want to do. And so
Hmm.
when you do that, people are going to be the biggest Raven fans, the biggest cheerleaders, and they're going to help support you, and then they're going to keep showing up. And so church has got the vision and the mission lined perfectly, and we just need to look at the model that they're doing, because that's how we get people to show up every day, and it definitely
Exactly
provides
right.
an opportunity. So love
Hmm.
that. All right, Mr. Fisher, your turn. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, what inspired you to get started, man.
Well, I'm Thomas Fisher. I'm up here in Niagara on the Lake, Ontario, Canada, about 50 minutes from Buffalo. Buffalo Bills got robbed, just saying. Um, I just before I talk about what I do, I gotta just kind of tie these things together. We find AI to be a tool that we call it the $150,000 assistant that we pay $150 a month for. It's great having an AI system that can actually do things for us, but we would probably have to farm out and pay a lot more money once you learn how to use it. And Christian entrepreneur, fabulous. My wife and I are involved in a number of Christian ministries. I run a men's ministry here called Man Up Niagara. We do 3 events a year, and my wife is involved in a women's ministry called Tableland. We believe in giving our time, talent, and treasure freely and gleefully and joyfully. And there's nothing more better than connecting with Christian brothers, that's for sure. And traveling, my wife would love to travel, loves to travel. We've traveled all over a bit too. You get a real appreciation for what how God's created this massive, beautiful planet we live on. So I'm Thomas Fisher. We're a global catapult. We're a capital strategy firm, investor marketing firm. You probably see it all the time. Founders have great businesses but can't get in investor meetings, or worse, they get meetings and they blow them because they're not prepared. So that's exactly what my wife and I started Global Catapult for. My wife's name is Janet, and we wanted to put together a fundraising preparation consultancy that would help prepare people to get to our curated investor network of accredited high net worth investors, from family offices to VC firms. So, and we just walk people through that, and we're not competing with what you do. preparing your clients for success before they get out and raise money. And when they close, everybody wins. So that's really what we're about. We're just about helping entrepreneurs that are starting up, looking for fund to raise funds, having the right messaging, the right framework to do so. And we have a network, as I said, of investors that we gladly introduce them to once they're investor ready. What inspires me? Spent 30 plus years in entrepreneurship. I was sales, marketing, leadership, more in a leadership role and executive role. And I just became disenfranchised with the whole process. And I watched entrepreneurs starting out awesome, lots of energy, see them a year later with a follow up on our yearly annual meeting, completely different story. They've run out of money. The banks have got their house, their cars, their kids, everything else. And then they don't have anywhere else to go get money. And they couldn't take the time to meet with investors properly because they really didn't know what to do. And it stuck with me for all the years. And I thought, you know what? Kind of in a crossroads with my business. I was kind of bored with selling wood packaging and pallets. There's no people involved. And I like to talk to people, I like to connect with people. And I was praying one day, I was asking the Lord, I said, what am I supposed to do? And the Lord said, you got all these connections. You better start, that's what it's all about. The new economy is ecosystems and people. So put yourself in that way. You've got friends that are looking to raise money, go help them. So that started about a 2 year ago process. And now we're full time into this and we're slugging it out, trying to make a living. So it's all good.
I love that. Well, congratulations for building that. You're doing amazing work. Well, my name is JR. I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network. And even though Business Leaders Network is a mastermind networking organization to help small business owners grow, and we're a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders, one thing I'm most passionate about is, not just the connection, but I help small business owners leverage the power of micro one-day events to generate more leads, close more sales, as well as increase retention inside their business. I come across two people all the time: those that want to host events because they know the power of in-person experiences, but they don't know where to start or how to get moving, and they become paralyzed and never actually do it because they just don't know where to get started. So like, oh, I'm going to host an event someday, but they never actually move. Well, the second type of person that they're hosting events, but they're massively losing. They don't know how to make money from it. They're always, coming out, without a profit, and they're always they're spending a lot of money and not making any profits. And so I love working with both different types of people, and there's not one event that fits one goal. And so I have broken it down to 6 different types of events, depending what our goal is, and then I walk them through from the strategy to implementation to offer creation to even building the back end support that's going to help them, have a successful, business to help them grow, whatever their goal and their outcome is. And so micro one-day events is something I love to do. And what inspired me to get started was when I got out of the military in 2007, I own a martial arts school, great at teaching martial arts, been doing it since I was 3 years old, teaching since I was about 9 or 10 years old. And didn't know what I wanted to do when I got in the military, so I just did what I knew best, which was how to teach martial arts. I trained a lot of Marines and sailors while I was active duty in the military, and just leaned on what I knew how to do best. But I didn't know how to run a business, so I hired a business coach, and he showed me how to create new offers, launch an event, and how to sell from an event. Well, before I hired him, I was barely making $1,000 a month and struggling like you can imagine, and just eating peanut butter and jelly and spaghetti every day. Wasn't married yet at this time, and I literally paid for him on a credit card. I was like, okay, well, this is my chance to learn something. And so I hired him. He showed me how to do these skills. And then my very first event that I hosted, I closed $270,000 in new contract sales from that one event. And that's where everything changed for me. It inspired me to host more events and create experiences, build more community and networking and connections and relationships with people. And then over the past year, so that was 2007, 2008 when I launched my first event. And I've helped so many other entrepreneurs do the same thing. And so I'm passionate about it. I love it because this is how I build my business and my connections and growth, whether I'm speaking on other people's stages or I'm hosting my own events myself for growth and authority. And kind of go back to what Sebastian said, I want to build more authority and awareness and trust. And the best way to do that is through in-person experiences and being able to shake hands and love on people and build those lasting connections. So that's what inspired me to do it, and I'm continuing doing it. I mean, from now until the end of March, I think I have 6 different events that I'm planning on either being at or hosting over the next couple months. And so I live what I preach and have a good time doing it. All right, let's go back to Lucie. Lucie, why don't you share one of your best client success stories? Where were they at when they started working with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Yeah, so one of our best client success stories has been where when I actually first started my business, and it's been really cool to see their growth over that time period. So when I first started, I had a coaching client who was getting out started with social media, and he actually was already doing a lot of the things, but he wasn't showing up authentically as himself, because we always feel that when we're on social media that we have to be this certain thing, especially and I'll tease a little bit on the real estate world, right? The real estate world can sometimes be the worst when it comes to that. He was in a realtor, and he was doing all of these videos, but he was very mundane and just feeling like he had to be super extremely professional. And so he worked with us, and he was able, we did one-on-one coaching with him. We got him to a point where he had a great personality in real life. Like, you saw this guy and he was super warm and friendly and kind, but in his videos he did have a little bit of military background too. So when he was like more tuning into that military, like cut and paste, like dry to the point. And so we were like, listen, you literally have this great personality. We need to weave this into what you're doing, and you need to be yourself on social media. He ended up changing the whole tune. We went through a whole revamp and helped him gain the confidence that he needed to really show up online. Back then, he was working for just another real estate brokerage, and he ended up gaining enough traction through his social media and the content that he was creating, and gaining enough confidence to actually open his own brokerage, and then build an entire team around him that is also showing up authentically in their own spaces. And so now they've had multiple videos go viral through their company, but also in his personal life, and he's showing up like as his most authentic self, traveling with his wife and his family, and really building a life that he is looking to, that's important for him and his world. So it's been incredible to see the journey that people can go on if they really show up as themselves and like believe in themselves and build the confidence that it takes. It's been one of the joys of my life to be able to see clients that have started from the beginning and then come to the end, or not to the end, because we're always growing and learning, right? It never ends. But that's been a joy to just see people grow and actually accomplish the goals. I remember when we first started working together, and he was like, this would be an ideal one day. And then he actually made it happen through the power of connecting with people and just being himself. So that's, I would say, one of the best customer journeys to see from my point of view.
Love that. Congratulations. Thomas, I
Thank
want to go
you.
the same question for you. Tell us one of your best client success stories. Where do they start when they work with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Yeah. So in terms of the AI system, right, there's many different parts of it, and some products are different for different clients. But you asked for the best. Do I have your permission? Can I, instead of just telling you, can I show you guys something?
Sure.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna send this request in. All right. So what you guys are about to see, this is a client of ours. So our AI not only answers calls, it makes outbound calls. It even does database reactivation. So if you got tons of leads sitting in your CRM, a lot of people think they got to go out and get more leads, but there's probably a lot of money sitting in businesses' CRMs. And so what we did is we deployed the AI, and over 79 days, 683 calls, totally AI, no human intervention in the whole process, scheduled 96 appointments. And to them, that was, quarters of millions of dollars in potential revenue. But that's on the high end, right? You said the best, but a typical client who's running campaigns, this guy, he's fairly new. He's a land investor. 58 calls came in. AI caught them. He had 41 conversations, ended up scheduling 13 appointments, and closed 3 deals, which was about 30 grand worth of profits for him. So I like to show visuals. We have tons of clients that have very similar accounts. I've created or generated almost over $250,000. I don't even think, let me see, this is kind of like a post here. $25,000 from a check here that we made. 57,500. Like, I can go on, and as you can see, I already have this kind of prepared because I do some of these presentations. But this is excuse me, real world stats, and we created over 250,000 from this system alone that potentially would have been lost, had we not had a system that could capture those calls. And this is why I talk about the importance of missed calls and how businesses dramatically underestimate, what that looks like. So that's just a little snapshot, a little visual for you guys, but that's just a couple examples there just that I had right off the dome. I didn't know I was going to show it to you, but there you go.
I love that. Do you work with real estate investors as well?
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of our main core. Real estate investors, wholesalers, agents, brokerages, and now we're starting to get out to the home service industry.
Cool. I have a good friend and business partner of mine. Her name's Jennifer Falloon. She owns Vorsa Investments, and I know we're looking for more investors for a pretty big property that we have out of Missouri. And so I'd love to get that connection for you, and I'll make that happen for you.
Yeah, I mean I got lots of people. I myself, started putting together syndications for big, apartment takedowns and stuff like that.
Cool. That'd be a great connection.
Yeah,
Sweet.
thank you.
Let's go to Sebastian. Tell us one of your best client success stories.
Absolutely. So I've got two that I like. I'll make them brief. One of which I just don't want everyone to think that, everything I do is only for the church. I work with other people, but one of my favorites is a Christian author. Her name was Rebecca Gray, and she was having a lot of medical and health issues, and she was not a very articulate person, but she had a book out. So I know that she's brilliant, but so many brilliant ideas go to die because we don't know how to articulate them. I'm actually writing a book right now, and it's called You Are a Genius, but You Sound Like an Idiot. And that's not meant to insult anybody. It's meant to show you the truth that a lot of our lives as human beings, because we're social creatures, depend on talking, depend on having people actually understand what's in our heads so that our brilliance can actually shine. And my success story with her comes down to within the span of a month, transforming her speaking from someone who is uh, talking like this and stuttering a lot to someone who speaks so powerfully that within one event that I booked her on to go on a stage at a church, she sold 40 books in a room of only about 40 or so people. People were buying more than one book at a time. And this isn't just a book. She wrote a 400-page monstrosity of a book that you would think, are people really going to buy something this big? And they did. They did like crazy, like hotcakes. And this was just her first time speaking after a month with me, right? Now, my other client success story, one that I'm also very, very passionate about because it's, in my opinion, this is directly saving businesses. I have his book right here. He's another author, but that's not all he is. His name is Dr. Philip Mead. He is a NASA public speaker, the guy who NASA hired after the Columbia rocket explosion to save NASA, to save the cultural problems at NASA. And his keynote talk revolves around uh, reigniting your why, rediscovering how to become more passionate with your mundane acts, to actually be deliberate about what you're doing, right? And so I heard him talk, and I realized in one of our first coaching calls that yes, he's a multi six-figure speaker. He gets paid $250,000 to speak already before he even met me, but he wasn't a powerful speaker. Not yet. Not yet. He was monotone. He was little inconsequential with his words. And so step by step, I taught him how to become a more powerful speaker. And because of that, he's able to see more conversion rates, more businesses hiring him, more cultures in the workplace being saved and being prevented from that slow decline that we see everywhere. I mean, we see it all the time, right? His purpose is to save businesses from slowly deteriorating. And that happens in everyday life. So those are my two favorite client success stories because to me, I've helped empower people to directly change lives on stages, achieve better results, better sales, better purpose, better everything. Those are my favorites.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Fisher.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few, but the one I really I can share, it's kind of a cool story. So we met. I met with a company that's got a really cool innovation around clean tech vocational trucking firm, and they've cracked the code on how to make vocational trucks from the mining and so on run on without having to use all the diesel and much more environmentally friendly, et cetera, et cetera. And they were modestly worth about 16 million evaluation pre-money. That was about a year and a half ago. We worked with them, put their materials together, got them a proper pitch deck, proper business plan, proper executive summary, introduced them to one of our family offices. Family offices fell in love with them. These guys are just incredibly gifted. And we're sitting here right now. Their company's about approaching 300 million evaluation, and they're going into a IPO third quarter. They're anticipating the valuation to be 500 million. And that was one of our early deals. We really didn't really have it all figured out yet, but it certainly was a catalyst to showing us that, hey, you know what, we got something here. And I got another golf deal that I'm working on that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to coming together because it's going to revolutionize the when you're trying to get a secondary team time from something like, say they're full, these guys have figured out how to become the StubHub of golf. It's pretty cool. So.
I love that. I love how stories and impact can change our own belief, and it validates why we do what we do. It just goes back to who said that? Was that you, Sebastian, that said, going back to our why of what we do in one of your stories?
Yes, exactly right.
So the more if we focus on creating more stories and success stories and helping people achieve what they get, it's just going to help us become more powerful in who we are and what we do, because our conviction in what we do becomes stronger. And then when our conviction is stronger, then people are going to believe us a lot more because we're able to communicate that message more powerfully. So that's awesome, Thomas. I love that. For me, I have hundreds and hundreds of success stories, and one particular that I love sharing is, I had a client of mine. It's probably like 6-7 years ago from now, and she came to me at the beginning of December and was already planning to host an event. And before she even decided to hire me, I looked at it and I was like, man, this is a mess. Like your message was horrible. Her offer was mediocre at best. She probably would have closed five, maybe $10,000 at most, and that's if she begged for people to buy for what she was even offering. And it just was not put together well, and she didn't really have a whole lot of belief in who she was. And so when she came to me, I was like, look, there's several things we got to fix to be able to change so we can make your next event to be extremely profitable. And the first thing was a belief. I had to change the way that she thought about offers, because she didn't know what the industry was actually doing, and she was way undercharging herself for the level of service that she was giving. And so we changed her belief, and then we had to fix her message that matched that belief, so that way people can understand the value that she was even given. And we had to switch her offers as well. And so from that one event that she did, after completely changing everything, she closed $109,000 in new contract sales from that one event. And I love sharing that because within less than 30 days, we were able to transform everything, and that changed her whole life from that business, because that was the launch of a brand new business that she had. She was going from an online female personal trainer coach to now she wanted to work with female coaches and personal trainers with their social media strategies, and doing so to completely transform her life. And I love sharing that story because she's still out there making big moves and helping a lot of people, and it's been really cool. So cool. All right, so we're going to go on to the next thing. But first, I'm going to go to Lucie. And Lucie, you shared the best way for people to get in contact with you. And then also, I know that you have your nonprofit as well. And I'd love for you to have a little moment to share one of the success stories for that. And then the best way for people to get in touch with you.
Thank you. So yeah, best way to get in contact with me, you can go to luciemcguire.com. Lucie is spelled with an IE. So Lucie McGuire with an MC .com. And I have all the different things that I am doing and ways to reach out to me. And then you can actually get right onto my calendar and talk about anything that anyone's looking to do and collaborate with in the sense of purpose and mission. So, and thank you for the prompt for the nonprofit as well. Yeah, the nonprofit, the Traveling Youth, there's so many success stories we've been able to see from that. And like I said earlier, like everything that I do is really to be able to fund and help and give my time to that. And you talk about emotional intelligence. One of the really cool things that we're able to do with our organization is we give an EQI assessment before and after their trip. And we actually measure their emotional intelligence growth on this month-long study abroad trip. And so we've been able to send 16 students overseas, and we've seen upwards of 11% growth in areas like stress tolerance, self-awareness, and empathy from those students in a 2-month span of time, which is insane. insane. And we know that these are young adults from 18 to 25. Some of them have never left the city, state, country, and some of them don't get the opportunities that other students do sometimes, even if they're doing all the things. And so one of those specific students, which so many of them are inspirational in what they've been able to accomplish. One of them, we give these students opportunities to volunteer with us, but also they have, when they get back from their trip, they actually speak at one of our events about their experience and how it's impacted their life in front of 100+ people. So not necessarily the easiest thing for an 18, 19-year-old student to do. But we had one of our students who probably was one of the more disadvantaged students that we had. And she came from a very hard life and situation. She actually, like, her entire parental system was her cousin. She didn't even have her mom and dad. She had her cousin as her parental person, and then she also had her best friend, and those two people are like her people in her life. And when she came onto this trip, she was very closed off, very much like, the world is against me kind of mentality. And she went over, we take the students over, we have a partnership with CZU over in Czech Republic, and we went over there for a month. It changed her complete life. She really started to understand more about herself and how she navigates. She came back with more confidence. She spoke so beautifully at our event, and she actually shared about how she was the first to go to college, the first to go to graduate high school in her family, and that now she wouldn't be in front of these people speaking about her story had it not been for the confidence that she gained on this trip and completely evolving as a person, and now giving back and working, not only giving back to our organization, but working with the local school and getting her first job and really showing up as a more well-rounded adult who can now enter society with a little bit more than maybe what our school systems prepare for sometimes. So that's why I do it, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to share a success story from them. But yeah, it's the light of my life to see them, those young adults who are literally our future, then are going to be the future of our entrepreneur world, right?
I love that. And then when you can do something for free and still pour everything into it, that it's something amazing. So congratulations. I love that. Sebastian, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Well, there's two ways that I love when people get in touch. I have all my personal information, including my phone number, on my websites, actually, because I like to hear about what people's missions are and where they're at and what they need to get done. So on my website, speakup.express, it's not .com, it's .express. People can see all my information. There's even a link at the bottom where they can schedule a call directly with me. I like to even give out free coaching calls for a first time little meetup call where we can see and dissect where people's speaking is at and where it wants to get to and what business they have or what book they have and what the vision that they have for it is. So speakup.express is the easiest way to get in touch with me.
I love that. All right, Mr. Fisher. Best way someone
Yeah,
to get in touch with you?
A couple of different ways. Globalcatapult.com. You can get a hold of us there. We have a schedule a call button that you can just click on. It goes to our calendar. My email is tfisher@globalcatapult.com. And yeah, that would be the best way to get a hold of us, I guess. And I look forward to hearing more from people. I love talking to people that are looking to find the best solution to their fundraising journey.
Love that. All right, Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir. Super simple. Just go to stellaraisolutions.com. That's where you can reach us. I'm all over social media, just wherever you're at, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, just handle at stellaraisolutions.com. Pretty simple.
Yeah. Cool. I should say one of my favorite ways to end an email is have a stellar day. I don't say have a great day. I say have a stellar day. I love that word.
That's what I say, man. That's my slogan. Have a stellar day.
My wife made a note of that when she met me. She's like, you can't just say have a great day. I'm like, no, man, I want them to have a stellar day. So it's awesome.
Yep.
It's good.
When people say, how are you doing today? Everyone says, oh, I'm doing good, and I like to say I'm just too blessed to be stressed. So that's my response, and then have a stellar day. So
there you go.
Love that.
Perfect.
Well, for me, the best way to get in touch is I have a free giveaway for anyone that wants to know how to leverage events for growing their business. And they just go to theonedayevent.com. That's theonedayevent.com. And I have a free One Day Events conversion blueprint that they can download and be part of it. And then from there, they can book a call with me and discuss how we can best serve them. So the1dayevent.com is the best way to get in touch. Well, thank you everyone for jumping on our call, and for all you listeners out there, if you found something valuable, I want to encourage you guys to reach out to the person that you want to connect with. We would drop their contact information on all of our sites and tag them on our posts from wherever you guys see this. But until next time, Semper Fi.
Ah.
Awesome.
Take care. Thank you so much.